Okay, guys, so if you missed problems, I think it was 9 through 12, these were mostly open-ended and require you to show multiple steps for work to receive full credit. This would be the playlist or the video to address those problems. Now, excuse me, sorry. Majority of these, I think all of them, except for one or two, was completed square or the quadratic formula. This was number, make sure this was number 9. Yeah. And I know we had some questions on like what to put into the space that was provided on the test form on Teams. But what we first had to do is make sure we can fill in each step. And I kind of just basically took what we had on the actual review. See, we did these in class. And we're just kind of doing each step and filling in the parts. And we're filling in by following our steps that was on the summary sheet. Okay, so I checked that you did each step correctly, and then you got to the final answer, and then your final answer was correctly. So our first step is rearrange so that the constant, I'm going to do it over here. Well, I'm going to do it on here. Sorry, guys. So the rearrange so the constant is on the right side of the equal sign. So when you were working this, x squared minus 8x minus 48 equals 0, then we should add 48 on both sides. So the first blank that we should have, because these are going to cancel, was x squared minus 8x equals, so in this blank I was looking for the 48. Then from here we have the statement that says x squared minus 8x plus blank and then equals 48 plus blank. So from this step, this is when we're supposed to take half of our b, so that's the negative 8. Half of that gives us negative 4, and then you square it, which would give us 16. And we're adding that 16 to both sides. So that's what I was looking for in the next set of blanks. And then from here, we need to factor this left side, because this side here, I probably should do that in blue. This side becomes now a perfect square trinomial. So we're going to just factor, and we had our parentheses, x minus a blank, parentheses squared, equals blank. So basically what goes here in the blank inside the parentheses is the half b, really. Or you can take the square root of the c. So this was minus 4. And then when you add the 48 and 16, this turns into 64. So now, step 4 requires you to take the square root of both sides. So when you do that, in this next section here, you should have x minus 4, that's in our blank right here, equals plus or minus 8. That was in the blank here. And I'm starting to run out of room, so I apologize for that. So then we want to isolate our x. So this next step is going to require you to add 4 to both sides. Okay, and I'm just going to come over here to the left right here. So when we do that, this step that we were going to have is x equals 4 plus or minus 8. But now they want us to find each x. Okay, because right here, x equals and x equals. So to find each x, we're going to have one x equal 4 plus 8. And the other x, I have room here, equals 4 minus 8. So we had to do one plus and one minus. For the plus, that's when we received or got the sum of 12. And for 4 minus 8, this was a negative 4. So basically, I wanted you to get to these two numbers in the test form. And the blank, I don't even think I had the verbiage up here. I think it asked for you to, let me see if I can find it on the printout. It asked for you to put in, how to solve, find the values of x. So the one at the last part, the values of x, by filling in all steps, showing how to solve by completing the square. So it was the value of x that they wanted here. Okay. So if you missed this, please explain to me why you missed it, how, why, and what you can do next time. So I was looking for a lot of work here when I checked your work. And this was a, I think, 15-point question because there were several steps here that you received points on. So like it was kind of like 3 points for each line, I think it was. All right. So then when we go to our number 10, if solving by completing square, which equation is a step in the process? So you do need to solve. You needed to show solving by completing the square. And this was our problem, which was x squared minus 8x minus 7 equals 0. So to solve it, we needed to add 7 first on both sides to get the constant. So we have x squared minus 8x equals 7. Then we needed to basically do the little steps that was on problem 9. So now we're doing our b. We're taking half of that. That gave me negative 4. And then we're squaring that, which gave us 16. Okay, so, oops. So on our next step here, we could write x squared minus 8x plus blank equals 7 plus blank. And what we're putting in that blank is this 16 that we got, 16 and 16. So now we have to simplify this perfect square trinomial. So we have x minus 4 parentheses squared equals 23. And then you needed to take the square root. Okay. And that would have gave us x minus 4 equals plus or minus the square root of 3. Now, 23, sorry. 23. Now, when I look at my answer choices, none of them went to that far. They didn't do the square root. So I'm trying to find which answer choice has one of these steps in it. And if I know I'm doing x minus 4 parentheses squared, that's the one I'm looking at right here, this one or this one. But r had to equal to 23, not 9. So it should have been this answer choice. So yeah, you had to kind of do the work to pick the correct answer choice. And then make sure you tell me why you missed this and what can you do next time to get it correct. I'm trying to think. So then we move into getting the actual solutions, but here they wanted you to use the quadratic formula. And I don't think I have it on here, the picture of that was given to you. So I'm just going to rework that. 3x minus 5x minus 1 equals 0. In order to do the quadratic formula, you need to know your parts. You need to know your a. This is our a, the coefficient of the x squared. You need to have your b. That's the coefficient of the x. That's negative 5. And you needed to know your c. And here, that was the negative 1. So that was one of the first things I looked for. And I either looked for it like listed out or it was in the formula. The formula for quadratic formula is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And this formula was given on the form, and it was color-coded too to help. And so from there, I wanted to see, did you plug in the parts correctly? So I'm going to plug in each part here to help you out. So This would be, I'm plugging in this -5 for the b part right here. So this negative is part of the b, but our b is already negative, so it's going to end up turning to positive when we simplify. So then we should have a plus or minus, then our square root, then I'm plugging in right here for b this -5 parentheses squared. Then we're going to do minus 4. Then for our a, we're doing parentheses 3. And for our c, we should have parentheses -1. All of this is on the top, and on the bottom, we're doing 2 times the a, which is 2 times, or 2 parentheses 3. So you can see how I substitute the parts in each one. So now we're going to simplify. So right here, a negative times a negative, that's going to make that a positive. I'm going to have to come down here. Sorry, guys. So we have 5 plus or minus the square root 25. Then we're going to minus 4 times 3 is a -12. Then times a -1, that makes this plus 12 here. This is all over 6. Okay. So now we need to do what's underneath the radical first. So when we do that, I'm going to come over here to the side. Our x equals 5 plus or minus the square root of 37 all over 6. And now we got to our answer choices. So notice that it had to be all over 6. So this one wasn't right because it separated the two. We should have got to here. Okay. So I needed to see the work, see the plugging in, and the simplification, following basically PEMDAS to get to the answer choice, to show that you got to that answer choice. And then here we are solving using, completing the square, because it says specifically solve by completing the square. So on this problem, because it was not in the right arrangement, because only constant should be on the right side of the equal sign, we have to start off by moving this 18x to the other side. So we would have x squared minus 18x equals 40. And then we can do basically our half square. I wanted to do it in the black, sorry. Our half square add, so x squared minus 18x plus blank equals 40 plus blank. So in there, half of 18 is 9, and then 9 squared is 81. So we have 81. Then we're going to simplify or factor the left side. So this becomes x minus 9 parentheses squared, and then we're just going to add the right side. So when we add that up, that gives me 121. And then to solve it, so this one we're solving all the way through. You take the square root. This is just going to be x minus 9, and this is going to be plus or minus 11. We keep going because we're solving for x. We're going to add that 9. So we would have, I'm running out of room here. I'm going to go over here to this side. We're going to have x equals 9 plus or minus 11. So that means x equals 9 plus 11 and x equals 9 minus 11. So here our x equals 20, and here our x equals -2. So I was checking that you got to these two values. You had to, some people put the answer using order pair, okay? Some people actually typed this out, okay? Some people did a bracket, which was fine. So I checked. I went in there. I had to go in there and give you your points and check your work to make sure it had everything. And so that was pretty much it, okay? So once you have completed the form, showing your corrections to the problems you missed. And you explained why you missed them and what we can do next time to get it correct. And you have your original work or what you did originally on the problem. All four boxes are filled in. Then you're going to take a picture of this and submit it on Teams for your daily grade, for your correction. Everyone's doing this. I can't remember how many hundreds we had, but we didn't have that many. The only people who do not have to do this or exempt from doing this assignment is if you had a perfect score. Thank you so much. Because I want everyone to know what is required to retest, and that is correcting your mistakes. And depending on percentages will determine what type of retest you're going to have. If it's going to be 10 questions, 5 questions, 3 questions, or no questions, because your corrections justify your points and your score. All right. So thank you for taking care of that. Once you're done with this, then you can do your Khan Academy assignment. All right.